The best bit is they'll look back in the they'll look in the rear mirror and they'll see it's a foreigner. They'll be like, foreigners, look at them. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm walking from my wife's childhood home up the coast going north towards Mikuni. Now Mikuni is a little seaside village. To walk there is probably about 2 hours, but what I'm going to do is going to walk as far as I can and then my wife's going to pick me up along the way. So I'll take you for a walk through some fishing villages in this rural town in Japan, west of Fukui. It'll be a point of view video. I'll mount you to my chest here with the DJI Action 4 camera. Let's see what the locals do in these little fishing villages on a Saturday afternoon. Okay guys, stick around, I hope you enjoy. Let's do it together. Okay, catch you soon. Yeah, walking these coast roads can be pretty dangerous. There's a chance that rocks can fall down. There's also the chance that I'll get run over by a car. There's not a lot of footpath space, as you can see. So yeah, pretty sketchy. So we're walking up the west coast of Japan now, from my wife's hometown all the way up to a little seaside port called Mikuni. And Mikuni is a beautiful little spot. Yeah, it's a good place to go for lunch, and it's like a traditional little Japanese village on the seafront. Rural Japan on the west coast. As you can see, it's a bit sketchy. I'm having to walk on the road. Danger, danger. Love those little K-trucks, eh? I reckon they're so cool. I think if I move to Japan in the future, I'm gonna buy a K-truck. And that could be like a video series. Wild camping in my K-truck, up and down Japan. Yes, I'll be jumping over this rope in a minute. There we go. The rope of safety and life. Saved by that little rope and a few metal sticks. Oh, that's much better. There were stories last year of the dolphins in this area getting a bit aggro, and people were like jumping off the boats to go and get the seashells and like harvest the seaweed and stuff like that out of the ocean. The dolphins were coming up to them and giving them a nudge in the ribs and stuff like that. Don't know if they're being aggressive or playful, but there was a few cases last year of people going to hospital with broken bones because the dolphins were getting a bit rowdy. Here comes the bus, the local bus. So that bus takes you directly into Fukui city centre. They run all day, on the hour, from the Echizen coast all the way to the city centre in Fukui. I actually used it last night. It was about $6, $6 Australian dollars to go from the city to the coast. It was about a 1 hour bus ride, you know, with stopping and starting, dropping people off. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's all I need, getting attacked by a couple of dogs. You'll notice there's a lot of old concrete everywhere. Big concrete barriers and blockades from the high tide and the rough swell from the ocean. These houses once upon a time must have got battered by the waves and stuff, so they've built big structures like this to try and protect people. It's an eyesore, it looks really ugly. And yeah, really old and dated. Really, really gloomy looking, you know, concrete grey. But that's what they do over here. Along the mountain, you got the mountains there, and then there's like a graveyard. They don't bury people in Japan. They cremate them. Can you imagine with the amount of earthquakes they have here? Far out, you'd have dead bodies popping up left, right, and centre out of the ground, wouldn't you? This area, I think a lot of people have a very similar boat, these little skiffs. My father-in-law's got one as well, but his has got a canopy on it, you know, for the sun. But it's really popular over here to have one of these boats, to go out onto the ocean, not too far, and just do a dive. The bed of the ocean is quite flat for quite a distance, so it's really good for collecting shells and seaweed and stuff like that. So it's big business in this area. There's a lot of places like this around, abandoned restaurants from the 70s and the 80s. You know, the boom time, they were doing so well. And my wife said when she was a kid growing up here, in the 90s even as well, there was a massive tourism thing and fantastic restaurants and places to visit. Always busy, people from the city coming out here. But these days it's all abandoned. Really sad. I don't know if you can see out on the ocean there, there's two people diving. They'll be gathering like shells and maybe doing a bit of spear fishing, or, you know, I don't think they're gathering seaweed because they'd have a boat with them if they were, you know, to dump all the seaweed onto. So I think they're just going for small items that you can fit in a net. Apart from the dolphins that might give you a nudge from time to time, it's pretty safe in this ocean here. There's no sharks or anything like that. My father-in-law's been doing it for 30-40 years in this same water, and he said he's never seen a shark. So it's not like Australia. Far out, you always got to be looking over your shoulder in Australia if you're in there, but over here in West Japan it's not too bad. A lot of people do it. They park up here and they jump in there. Saturday afternoon ball game in rural Japan. This is a bus stop. Coastal Town bus stop. And this here is a Torii Gate. Let's have a little look down here. This is a thing in Japan. Around every corner there's an adventure. Wow, this is cool. The ocean is really clear. Not very deep, just a little port. Seagulls are having a great time, look at them, frolicking on the water. Oh, look at that eagle, wow. You always see a lot of timber washed up. There's a tree over there. What happens is, in the high rains, the rivers come off the mountains straight into the ocean, and there's often like trees get dislodged and they tumble down the mountains and stuff, and they spend a bit of time out of the ocean and then the tide brings them in. I actually grabbed some out of the ocean the other day and I'm drying it out. I'm gonna make a bonfire with it. Don't know if you can see on the mountain side there, they've got steel bars coming out of it with a net, and I think that's, if anything tumbles off the top, to save the houses underneath, like a safety precaution. So they've got mountain water being channeled straight into the rice field. You can see it's coming off the mountain there in the channels, like a gutter that goes under the road, out there, straight into the rice field. This is pretty dangerous. Got the ocean, rice fields, and a really narrow road. Let's get around this bush as quick as we can. Kate Bush. Pretty dodgy, hey? Tell you what, I've just been doing all my walking in Crocs on this holiday. They're absolutely awesome. So comfy. It's amazing where you can go with Crocs on, in the water, up a hill, through the bush. All right, I'm gonna get past this as quickly as possible. Another dangerous area. Hopefully the cars will go around me all right. I've not been beeped at yet, but it could happen. The best bit is they'll look back in the they'll look in the rear mirror and they'll see it's a foreigner. They'd be like, ah, foreigners, ah, I've got them. Silly foreigner walking in the middle of the road. Things we do for adventure. Now I've decided it's too dangerous. I don't want to cause a car to go off the edge. God, far out, imagine that. I'd be the most famous person in Japan, that's for sure. For all the wrong reasons. So I tried going around the mountain, but it's too dangerous. I didn't want to cause a car to come off the edge of the cliff. So I turned back. I'm going to get on this bus, get past the dodgy mountain, jump off, and continue walking. Well, there's been a change of plan. I can't get the bus because the buses aren't running for another hour. And I can't walk around the mountain because it's too dangerous. I don't want to cause a car to crash. So, my wife is going to save me.